Hi beautiful souls, it's Tan back here again today with you on this astrology, human design and gene keys channel. And today I wanted to make a fun video to end this year by talking about the zodiac signs and their talents and how they can best find those particular talents. And so before we continue with this video, I wanted to make a quick announcement that I also have an art YouTube channel where there's videos there of the things that I paint and the art that I've created. So don't forget to head over there and click subscribe to my art channel, watch the videos and give it a like if you like any of the videos there. So this video is going to be, you can look at your chart and see any of the planets that you have in any of these signs. You can look at your sun, moon, rising, Mars, Venus, if you have a stellium of planets in a particular sign. But I think that the best way that you can use this video is to look at all of these particular talents and all of the particular 12 different ways of finding your talent, because I think that could be really fun. And we all have the 12 signs within our natal charts anyways. They all rule and occupy a particular house. And so that would be the best way to use it. All right, so I'm gonna start off by looking at the talents of Aries, zodiac and archetype, and its opposite sign, or in the gene keys we'd call it the programming partner, which is Libra, and see how those two balance each other out and how they're different. So when it comes to Aries, I feel like the most talented thing about an Aries is to actually challenge themselves and to be in a competition with themselves, especially in terms of either like making a lot of money, or in terms of getting ahead in their career, or in terms of climbing the career ladder, or being famous, or being very well known in the world, being recognized in the world. And that kind of an energy is a real true gift of the Aries archetype, is to really, instead of wanting to challenge others and be in competitions with other people, is to turn that competitive nature to themselves. That is a real power there. And so one of the ways that an Aries archetype, a zodiac, can find their talents or find any other talents that they may have in their chart is to actually consider what is it that they can actually do better than a lot of other people. So better than maybe 80 or 70% of the people in the world. And that is something that is not to be done in a way in which to put down other people, but it's more done in a way in which it feeds that Aries desire to keep pushing themselves to find something that they are really, really super, super good at. So that's going to be my take on the Aries archetype there and its talents and how to find the talent. So let's talk about Libra next. So Libra archetypes in zodiac is going to have quite an opposite energy to Aries, but quite a complementary energy to it. So I think that a Libra's special talent in the world is their ability to find people who they can truly trust, and to be able to use both their intuition and their logic and their heart and the mind, and fuse that together to be able to get this sense of an understanding of who's my tribe, who is can I be with for the rest of my life, or who can I have a really good bond and friendship with for a large part of my life. So I think that is a real gift and a real talent that Libras have, and this can be very good as well if a Libra archetype is more of a public person and they need to garner that community, needs to be part of a community, or they need or they need to influence people, for example. They can really get people to support them, to be on their tribe. And so one of the ways that a Libra type can find this particular talent, or they can find any of the other talents that they may have, this is a really good strategy for the Libras, is to talk to people and get feedback about what they may be talented at, what may be their gifts, especially the people that they trust. And so you see how they can feed into each other, having people that they can trust, and then asking people and having feedback or conversation with the people that they trust about any of their other talents that they may have. And this can be really close friends or family members, or somebody that they're very close to, but best if that person also knows the Libra since they were very young. So they can kind of give the Libra an insight into what they really like to do when they were younger. And sometimes the Libra loses, their real passions and talents because they try to please others, or because they try to fit into a particular system. And to be able to ask somebody and get feedback on who they were when they were younger, that's one of the ways that a Libra type can find their true talent. So now we're going to move on to Taurus and Scorpio. And I'm sorry if you guys, my voice is a little bit raspy today. I'm actually trying to recover from a cold, but proceeding with it very slowly. But yes, so that might be one of the reasons why my voice is a little bit weird. But Taurus. So the Taurus archetype is very talented at, I like to use this word when I talk about Taurus, touch. Their touch. They're very talented with that. And there's many different ways that you can interpret the word touch. You can look at touch as physical touch. So what a Taurus can do with their hands, they're very gifted with that. For example, cooking, you have to use your hands to do that. Gardening, you have to use your hands to do that. Crafts, drawings and paintings, you have to use your hands to do that. Building things, carpentry, you have to use your hands to do that. But the word touch can also be interpreted as things that you can touch, the way that you can touch people with your heart, through your words. That's another Taurus gift there. It's the words that you speak, because Taurus does rule the throat and the voice and the expression. And so the way that that is used can be a way of touching people as well. So there's many different ways that a Taurus can touch others, and the best way to find these particular gifts, talents that they have, or any other talents that they have really, is to really get their hands dirty and to get their words dirty. So to get your hands dirty as a Taurus, that would mean to actually do something with your hands, to try out various different things that you can do with your hands. But it also can kind of mean to pay attention to what it is that you want to grab and touch and feel with your hands, if that kind of made sense. So if you're feeling called to like touch that piece of fabric, maybe, there's like a gift there with fabric and with, fashion, for example. So what's that pull that you're having, Taurians? The other thing that you can do to touch, to get your words dirty, is to speak up and to not shy away from expressing yourself and using your throat to express how you really feel and how you really think about certain things, and to maybe even experiment with sharing your thoughts to people. And some people may not receive them very well, some people might, but the people who are going to be able to receive your thoughts and opinions very well are going to be reflecting back to you how gifted and talented you are at sharing what you think and what you feel, and being innovative with both your hands and your words. So when it comes to the Scorpio archetype and the Zodiac sign, we're going to have something kind of the opposites. I think that Scorpios can be very gifted and talented with things that are non-tangible, whereas a Taurus archetype is a little bit more with tangible things. The Scorpio archetype can also be talented with the non-tangible, and this can span so many things. One of those things is definitely also going to be money. So money, of course, a banknote, a coin is tangible, but the concept of money and the idea of money and the exchange that you have to make with money, that's not really something that's so tangible, right? So that kind of figuring out, where to invest money and how to get a return for particular investments, that's a really, really strong, Scorpio talent, as well as anything else that can be intangible, such as human psychology, the occult, the spirit world. All these various different things are something that Scorpio has deep insight into and can do very, very well in. As well as when you think about energy, working with energy that you can't quite see or you can't quite feel or touch, that kind of a thing is also the Scorpio kind of a gift and talent. Oh, and the other thing that I also wanted to say is when it comes to things that are more conceptual, that's also not tangible, right? Like politics, the government, laws and things like that goes on behind there. They can also be very gifted with that. And so to really be able to find their talents or any other talents that they have, really what the Scorpio archetype can do is, because it's so intangible, I feel like there's a lot of past fears, and we can even say past traumas or past their own way, the past basically, that is coming up to meet with resistance with the Scorpio before they can really trust these intangible things that they're very gifted with. And so processes that involve purging or healing of their past, looking back at their childhood and things like that, and healing from that is really something that the Scorpio can do before they can really figure out like, oh, this is what I'm really talented at. Because as long as those fears are existing, it makes it harder for you to trust these various more, we can say like unconventional things that a Scorpio can be very gifted with, because these things are not going to be taught mainstream in schools and in the world and in the world of education, and it may not even be received very well by friends and families. And so, except of course if you're working with money and investment, then but still you need to be able to trust in those kinds of things in order to trust in yourself and to trust in doing that kind of in those gifts that you have is deconditioning from some of the fears. So let's move on to Gemini and Sagittarius. So for a Gemini, I think that Geminis are very, very talented and gifted with being able to do many things in their life. So being busy with many, many things. And people like to say this, and I always I always cringe when I hear this, you're a jack of all trade and a master of none. But the whole quote, guys, remember, to that particular phrase is that, so being a jack of all trade and a master of none is better than a master of one. Because wisdom and experience is really something that Geminis are gifted with. This is their talent. The talent of a Gemini is to be put in a totally random situation and being able to excel at that. And they're not excelling at that because they know so much about that particular situation or that particular person. They're going to excel at that because they have remembered, oh, I've been in that situation before. I've gotten that particular lesson from that situation in my life. I've got wisdom and I've learned that from that particular situation. Now I'm going to put them together in this one challenging situation in my life and I'm going to excel at it. So that is really a Gemini gift there. And so, to be able to discover this gift, I think it's very important and crucial for Gemini archetypes and the zodiac itself is to dive into life and allow yourself to just explore many, many things in life, like satisfy your need to try out everything and then deduct some of the things that you have tried that you felt, oh, I've learned something from that, but it's not natural for me. It's not easy for me. It's not my true talent. I've learned something from that experience as well, but it's not really my talent or my gift, but yet I've learned something from it. So I feel like Geminis have this two sides to them. The one side of them is the side of them that is more logical. It's like, oh, I've learned things in my life and I have it in my brain. The other side of them is the more physical side, where there's more muscle memory, where they're just born natural and good at something already, and they can use that logic to help them dig out that natural part of them that kind of makes sense through the various different experiences that they have in their life, that they have learned lessons from, that they've kept in that logical mind. So how that's kind of making sense. And the logic of deduction is something that they can use to help them discover their different talents as well, by saying, it's not that, I've tried it. It's not that, I've tried it. It's not that, I've tried it. So that's Gemini for you guys there. So for Sagittarius, so I think that a real gift of a Sagittarius and a real talent of Sagittarius. This one is going to sound a little bit different than what you guys might expect, but I think that Sagittarians are very, very natural and very, very gifted with their presence. That kind of made sense. It's almost as if they can pretty much get by and be liked by people in various different situations that they're in, just from the way that they are. There is a certain amount of adaptability there, but it's not an adaptability where they're adapting to different people. It's almost as if there's an adaptability to the Sagittarius in the sense that they are able to see the good side. Yes, see the opportunity and have an optimism within various different situations that they're in, that they are just naturally likable. by people, and therefore giving them a really good aura and a really good presence wherever they are. It's very, very hard to dislike a Sagittarius. And this is their gift, this is their talent. And with that gift and with that talent, they can do a lot of things in their life, right? You can, you know, start a business and sell products because you're just naturally likable by the people that want to consume your product. You can be a great teacher because all the students are going to love you. So that is the real gift of a Sagittarius there. And the way to find this talent and this gift within a Sagittarius, it's this beautiful combination of inner adventure and outer adventure that makes them become the person that they are, where they're just kind of wise and they see opportunities and they're optimistic in every situation. So for a Sagittarius to get out of their comfort zone is a really good route to finding their particular talents and gifts, and any particular talents and gifts that they may have is to get out of their comfort zone and discover things out there in the world, physical things out there in the world as well. To have constant, you know, physical boundaries being expanded. A lot of them like to travel. They like to go biking, you know, they like to go diving. They like to get out of their caravan and travel around Europe. And that just puts them in their comfort zone. So getting out of their comfort zone is like putting them in their comfort zone to discovering their real gifts and real talents, if that kind of made sense. So now we're going to move on to Cancer and Capricorn. So the talent and the gift of the Cancer type, more so than any of the other signs, Cancers are very, very great at being a good support for the people that are in their life and being good support for just people in general. And there's many, many ways that you can interpret being good support. They'll be the people that, you know, you'll call on them and they'll be there for you right away, and they'll listen to you talk for hours and hours, and they won't sleep because you're not sleeping, in a way that's very natural for them. It's not done in a way where they're gonna ever feel forced to be doing something like that. I don't want to say that Cancers are like psychic, but it's more of that they are more in tune with some of your physical needs, things that nourishes you and fulfills you. You know, they're very, very good at picking up on that. And so if you need to talk all night, they can really feel you and really understand that and be there for you for that. And so this need to, you know, this ability to be able to give support to people is actually what gives the Cancer archetype a really a great ability to get in return abundance. That kind of made sense for you, because when they're giving, when they're supporting and giving others without any kind of underlying motivation, and that can be a challenge for Cancers as well. There can always be underlying motivations there, but when it's giving freely from the heart, people can feel that, and the universe can kind of feel that, and Cancers tend to be able to make a lot of money from that, meaning that if this is a business in which they are fully giving of support, giving of advice, or giving of their creativity in a way that they really feel, oh, this is what people need and I can give that to them, they get a lot of money back in return. So Cancers are also very gifted with making money and getting rich. So one of the ways that a Cancer can find some of their talents, or to find this talent or any other talents that they may have, is to allow themselves to nourish themselves enough so that they are no longer needing anything from people. This is, I think, very important for them, because I don't think that all Cancers are needy. I think that evolved, because you tend to see that all the time on the internet, Cancers are needy. But a really evolved Cancer is one that truly gives from the heart and doesn't expect anything from you in return, because they fully nourish themselves. So being able to do whatever it takes to find your own space in your house, maybe to eat the foods that you want to eat, to sleep when you want to sleep, to get in touch with your inner child, let out your creativity, let out some of your anger, let out some of your resentments. There can be a lot of stress and anger builds up in Cancer types when they are constantly having to be around people. So when they have their own space to let out and express that themselves and their anger or their stress, that is a really good way of nourishing themselves. And when they're able to do that, they're free to just give support to people in the world, and in return get all that abundance and prosperity that they never realized was coming their way. So Capricorn. So for Capricorns, a real talent of Capricorns is to be able, they have this real gift of being able to utilize their strengths and use their strengths in a way that they persevere in an easy way to get to be recognized for it. I don't know if that kind of made sense. So what I mean by this is that Capricorns are able to distinguish their weaknesses from their strengths. And whatever is their weakness, now they're either going to feel like they want to improve on that, they want to get better at it, or they're going to feel like it's not worth it, I'm going to focus on my strengths. But whatever choice they make, they're going to go back to their strengths and they're going to try to aspire to be more, aspire to be better. And in that aspiration, because they're using their strengths, their true strengths, it is easy for them to continue to climb their aspiration ladder in whatever field they decide to do, if that kind of made sense there. And they get respect and recognition and admiration for that. So one of the things that, you know, Capricorns can, types and Zodiac can really do to discover any of their talents or this particular talent is that, you know, they can really look back, if they really look back on awards they've been given when they were younger, you know, things that they have won, competitions that they have won when they were younger. And there's likely to be some of that there for the Capricorn types. Because when they were younger, they're probably already quite ambitious and doing very well in school or entering competitions and winning awards and things. What did they win, you know? And which one of those things that they win, most likely if you've won something when you're very young, it was probably not so hard for you to do. It was probably something that you really liked to do and you managed to kind of just excel at that. And taking, you know, the skills that is required for that particular field, developing on that, you know, seeing that as your strength and then developing on it. That's a really Capricorn thing, I feel. So moving on to the Leo and Aquarius archetypes. So I really feel like Leos are very natural and very talented and gifted at enjoying themselves. And that is not an easy thing to be able to do for a lot of us in the world, but Leos can do that. They can really find their sense of pleasure, happiness, and enjoyment. And they use that as a way of building it into, maybe they want to build the things that they enjoy into a career, they want to build into a business, they want to make money from that. And so, you see, Leo archetypes, they don't like to do things that they don't enjoy. And of course, if they have, you know, a lot of Capricorn, a lot of Aquarius in there, or a lot of more responsible signs, they can do things just for the sake of responsibility that they may not really enjoy and kind of be okay with that. But this is talking about just generally just the sign of Leo itself. It doesn't like to do things that's not fun, that it doesn't enjoy, that there's no pleasure in. It just doesn't. And that's a real gift, is to be able to get in touch with your sense of happiness, your sense of, you know, exuberant enthusiasm when you're doing something. Because when you are excited and when you're happy and when you're enthusiastic and exuberant at doing something, that goes a long way into being able to build on that particular skill or talent over time, developing it over time, being devoted to it over time. Devotion can only happen for Leo archetypes, and maybe for a lot of us, devotion can only happen when you are really enjoying the things that you do. When you cut out enjoyment, you cut out joy in what you do, it also cuts out the timeline at which you can actually have to build and develop on that particular field or that particular talent. It shortens that timeline. And so, of course, for Leos to be able to find this particular talent or to find any other talents that they may have, is to allow themselves to find a hobby. It's very important for Leos to have hobbies and to be able to take time away from the work that they have, if they are working, and to do something that they just enjoy. To allow themselves to be happy on a daily basis, at least, if possible, at least, you know, half an hour every day, 20 minutes a day. You know, to really feel that sense of aliveness coming inside of them. So let's talk about Aquarius. So Aquarius archetypes and Zodiac, what they're really gifted with and what they really have a natural talent for. And I've seen this with most of the Aquariuses that I know, is they have a real gift for knowing what's coming in terms of the trend. Like they're kind of always ahead of the trend. There's a real gift there to be able to sense this is the new trend. This is what people are interested in right now. And because of that and because of the past, what is going to be a new hit trend that's coming up in the future? For all, depending on what that particular Aquarius is interested in. This can be trends of technology, this can be trends of entertainment, this can be trends of food, this can be trends of just anything, money, investments, the stock market, whatever that Aquarius is just really interested in, they can get that sense of what's coming. And because of that, because they're gonna always be the type that's like ahead of the trend, that puts them in a position that where they tend to be the first to kind of come up with new or creative things or innovations and things like that. So that's a real Aquarius gift and talent there. And so in order for an Aquarius to be able to find any of their talents, including this one or any other talents that they may have, I think that Aquarians have to listen to their inner voice. And I think that there is within all Aquarians a very stubborn nature, in a sense that they can't really ask people around them, not like the Libra type. They may, but very little of that they're actually gonna take in. They can't really do so much of like, self-assessment tests, or even if they get into astrology to kind of figure out what their talents are, part of that's gonna be filtered. Because that's just the way an Aquarius is. And Aquarius has their mind is stubborn. It's a fixed sign, right? Aquarius, Leos, Taurus, Scorpios, they're stubborn in their own different ways. And for an Aquarius, their mind can't really be changed, can't really be manipulated or brainwashed very easily. And so when an Aquarius listens to their inner voice and listens to their own mind and has a mind of their own and isn't afraid to follow what their intuition or their mind or their inner knowing is telling them with regards to what their talents are or with regards to what the upcoming trends are going to be, that is when they really kind of are able to find some of their talents there. So now we're going to get onto the Virgos and the Pisces, the last opposite sign here. So for Virgos can be very, very gifted and very, very talented at, okay, I'm going to try to phrase this, asking the right questions to get particular results that they're looking for, or how do I say it, kind of approaching various different fields or various different things that they do in their life from a perspective that, maybe a lot of us don't dare to ask questions about that perspective, if that kind of makes sense. The critical nature of Virgo can be a talent of them here because they can really approach certain things from a place that none of us don't dare to go. So to be able to, for example, look at, let's say, read a book, right? Where a lot of people might say, oh, this is a great book. The Virgo's going, is it really a great book? Maybe it's a controversial book. Could this be addressing particular political issues? Could this be addressing particular issues about feminism? What is the writer trying to get at here that a lot of people might not see? So the Virgo's going to question that, and then they're going to try to approach it from a perspective that a lot of us don't dare to go, from a more critical perspective and an analytical perspective, which is a true gift and a true talent of the Virgos here as well. And this is also, of course, in terms of things that are more on the spiritual and alternative side of things, that the Virgo likes to also question and look at it from a different perspective. They would question various different spiritual topics to see like if there's something there that they might see that a lot of people can't see. So I think that might also be a gift there, is that I feel like Virgos can kind of see things that a lot of other people can't see as well. But seeing from a place of not yet coming up with an answer or a solution to that, but just seeing it from a place of curiosity. That's really a Virgo's gift there. And so I feel like the way that a Virgo archetype or zodiac can discover this particular gift or any other of their gifts and talents, I think that one of the things that Virgos really like to do is to take certain self-assessment tests. So like the Myers-Briggs, MBTI personality tests, or get an astrology chart read, look at their human design, look at their gene keys, get various different, personality assessments, just to kind of approach, that from a different perspectives so that they can kind of critique it, enjoy it, have fun, get curious along the way, but yet not landing at any particular solution or answer just yet, and see what comes up for them. They are, after all, a mutable sign. And so that is one way of doing it, but the Virgos can also go the other way, which is not just from the mind, but they can be exploring various different soul and body practices that can help them discover more about themselves and who they are and what their talents are. And so they may, want to get into tantra practices, or they may to kind of decondition from their past to be in their natural bodies, or they may, get into Reiki, or go to get a massage, and things that they also feel they want to explore so that they can be discovering more about themselves. So that kind of made sense. All right, and last but not least, for the Pisces, I think that the Pisces have a real gift and talent for things that I would use the word that they're more boundless, that they have no rules, that they're more freedom oriented. Real gift of the Pisces there. And so when I say this, I mean things like, if a Pisces were to have a business, for example, they're gifted at work or jobs or businesses where there's not going to be a lot of rules for them, where they can kind of do as they like. Think about Pisces midheaven, for example. They can kind of do what they like and have the freedom of it there. They don't have to work under a boss. They're not sure when they're going to make a certain amount of money or income, if that's going to be stable for them or not. There's actually a real gift in being able to do that. And I think that the gift here in being able to do things that we consider more boundless for Pisceans is their sense of trust and faith in themselves, in the universe, in life. And there's a little bit of the sense of surrendering to what may come. And so when we talk more about this talent, we also want to think about things like things that are more otherworldly, like spirituality, definitely, or like the world of entertainment that's behind the camera, where anything can happen, like movies and film, where you can create a whole new world behind that, and being a great actor, that is where the real gift is coming in here, because there's no rules there. There's just the imagination, the trust, the faith. So they can really excel in that kind of a thing. And so when, how a Pisces can find these particular gifts and talents and any other gifts and talents that they may have, one of the things that they want to consider doing is to consider developing their sense of trust. Because if they don't have a solid sense of trust in life, in themselves and in the world, they're going to put themselves in a box, and they're going to try to tell themselves that, I'm going to do certain things that is limiting me, that is not entirely boundless, because I don't trust that if I follow that risky or boundless path, that I'm going to find happiness or I'm going to succeed. So I'm going to stick with the mundane. So that is when the Pisces doesn't really have a sense of trust or faith, or doesn't surrender to the helping hand of the universe, right? And so developing that sense of trust can come in many ways depending on each particular Pisces individuals. For some of them, doing a tarot card reading can really help develop a sense of trust. For some of them, it can be spending time in nature. For some of them, it can be spending time alone and getting with themselves again. So there's many things that can be done for that, whatever works best for you in developing your sense of trust and faith in life. So beautiful souls, I hope you enjoyed this video. Those are some of the talents and gifts of each zodiac archetype, and how they can discover some of their talents and gifts. And remember that we all have these 12 zodiac signs in our natal chart, and that I highly recommend not just looking at your sun, moon, rising, or midheaven, or stelliums, but just to look at all of them and see what might resonate with you more or less. Happy New Year 2022, beautiful souls. I hope that you had a great 2021, and I'm going to be seeing you next year. Oh, and I also have a art channel, our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to that. Bye, beautiful souls.